Welcome back. If you haven't seen the last video where we broke down the kick pattern from this opening, definitely check that out first. It'll lay the groundwork for our upcoming series on 16th swing. In this video, we'll quickly break down the groove variations in this song. We'll start with the kick pattern, since this is the consistent element across all variations. The important thing here is to get the timing of those last three notes correct. Here, we have a long, short feeling. In rhythmic terms, it's a dotted eighth, eighth note pattern. This rhythm has West African and Afro-Cuban origins and is also known as a tresillo rhythm. If you're counting, the rhythm for this pattern is 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. This may be easier to feel once we add the hi-hat or snare, but when that bass drum is isolated, feeling that empty beat 4 is crucial. If you're struggling with this, here's a tip. Try lightly tapping your left heel for timing. If this is new to you, it does present a bit of a coordination challenge at first, but learning to use that left heel for silent timekeeping is very helpful, and it's something that every drummer should learn at some point. This next step isn't strictly necessary since we don't get this exact combination in the song, but it will help prepare us for the full groove later. We're simply going to add the snare on 2 and 4. This will fill that empty beat 4, giving your foot something consistent to relate to. Watch out for flamming on beat 2. Make sure these land exactly together. Before we get to the full pattern, let's isolate our final combination, kick and hi-hat. There are 2 keys here. First, our right hand needs to be fast enough. Adding the kick and snare will draw focus away from the hi-hat, so your right hand needs to be totally comfortable at this tempo. Memorize the feeling of the kick playing with or in between the right hand. If you're having trouble, slow this down at first to really give yourself time to internalize the in-between feeling on the of beat 3. Keep an eye on your right hand. Be sure that the motion of the stick stays smooth and steady. No stopping, tension, or jerky motions. If you find your foot is affecting your right hand, slow down until you find comfort, and then slowly build the speed back up. Now, let's try to put it all together. A key here is to stay light and precise. Don't overplay, especially the hi-hat or kick. If your coordination is built up properly, this should feel light and smooth despite the speed. If you find that your tempo or rhythms are a bit inconsistent when you're trying the full groove, here's a great approach. Start with 4 bars of just kick and hi-hat, and then 4 bars of layering in the snare drum. This allows us to start with a solid foundation and then add that one extra element. When we do this, make sure that nothing changes about the kick and hi-hat rhythms. We actually have to do this exact thing in the music anyway, so alternating back and forth like this is perfect practice for this song. Before we wrap up, let's talk about ways to simplify this or make it playable if you can't quite manage the full pattern yet. In this song, we are a bit limited in what we can do, but we can still make some modification. In this song, the kick pattern is really the key, so I wouldn't change that. When the snare is part of the groove, it's also fairly important and probably not so difficult. That leaves the hi-hat. The tempo in this song is quite fast, and some of you may have trouble with the speed of the eighth note. Or maybe your right hand can move fast enough on its own, but when we add the full groove, we get tense or things just fall apart. In this case, we can change the eighth notes to quarter notes. Yes, the groove will lose some energy, and using quarter notes instead of eighth notes presents a different kind of coordination challenge. But if speed is an issue, this is a totally viable modification. If you do this, you can use the same approach as we used before to build up the groove, just use quarter notes instead of eighth notes. Even though this is a fairly simple groove, the tempo makes it a real challenge. Practicing the various limb combinations will help your brain and body sync up. If you're struggling to play this cleanly at tempo, slow it down. Remember, coordination doesn't start with speed. It's about comfort and control. Speed will come later. If you have any questions, drop a comment and I'll do my best to respond. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want to keep working on this song, Patreon is where all of the learning resources for this channel live. You can join the community and download the TV-size sheet music for free there. The link is on screen and in the description. Thanks again for watching, and now, the outtakes. Even though this is a fairly simple groove, the speed makes it a real challenge. Practicing the various limb combinations will help your brain and body. What the fuck? Help.